On May 5th, the 2022 Missing and Murdered Indigenous People Rally was held in Juneau, Alaska, and was reported on by the Alaska Beacon. Led by Ann Sears, the rally sought to draw attention to the lack of urgency and resources dedicated to addressing the disproportionate amount of missing Indigenous people, and specifically Indigenous women. The Administration for Native Americans estimates that 19.6% of the Alaska population comprises of Native Alaskans. On a national level, the American Natives Association estimates that there are 4,200 missing and murdered Indigenous people whose cases have gone unsolved and uninvestigated. According to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Indigenous women are murdered at a rate that is 10 times higher than all other counterparts of different ethnicities. During the 2022 rally, members of the Indigenous and Native community share their stories about loved ones who have been missing and how the lack of police investigation is contributing to complications within their community. The rally used red paint to put handprints on individuals' faces to draw attention to the disturbing nature of the uninvestigated brutality. The rally advocated for preventative resources where Indigenous individuals would become aware of the disproportionate disappearances and equipped with preventative measures to lessen their vulnerability to this uninvestigated violence. Gaining attention to this issue is essential. There is a need for collaboration with the FBI to address this issue. The rally also drew attention to an issue known as missing white woman syndrome, and specifically addresses the case of Gabby Petito, a missing white woman whose disappearance and murder was promptly investigated by law enforcement, a stark contrast to her minority counterparts whose cases remain investigated at slower and less frequent rates and with less media coverage. The New Yorker describes missing white woman syndrome as sensationalization and extreme media coverage allotted to missing white women, which results in increased awareness and quick resolution to missing and murdered cases, only when it pertains to white women. I was shocked when I learned about this, and I was shocked that and I believed that there could have been resource limitations that are contributing to this issue, mainly because I know that Alaska is known to have a lot of snow, which I believed would complicate investigations. But after having time to process this event, I began to question the legitimacy behind my initial presumption of weather-related complications. If there had been 4,200 missing white women in a state where 20% white individuals populate, would their disappearances and murders really go unsolved? I really don't think so. And I now believe that the issue is not as simple as addressing extreme weather conditions, but rather that unresolved cases could be a part of a more significant and deeply rooted social issue based in hatred and bias. When considering the interpersonal communication model, as discussed by Dr. Kearney, some context elements within myself are essential in understanding my reaction towards the 2022 rally. As a Latina woman, my identity puts me in a position of distance from Indigenous Alaskan women. As a Latina woman, I'm more indirectly affected by this issue and more reliant on personal research to stay informed and up to date regarding the status of this issue. As previously discussed, my reaction to the rally evolved and changed. This change in thinking could have been based on my prior experiences with social justice research. When considering police brutality within the Black community, it is evident that Black individuals are not treated as well as their white counterparts. A similar comparison was made in this situation, where Indigenous individuals are not treated as well as their white counterparts. In both situations, white individuals are treated better by law enforcement. During this course, we discussed the 5 phases of oppression, which were defined by Iris Young in 2013. The 2022 rally is related to the violence phase of oppression. Young describes oppressive violence as being systemic and based on social imagination and false fear towards marginalized groups. With widespread ignorance towards this issue, it can be understood that it's not being taken seriously, further perpetuating the idea that this disproportionality exists only within the social imagination of Native and Indigenous individuals. As discussed during the white privilege lecture, Dr. Kearney discusses how whiteness controls all of society's social and economic resources. Missing white woman syndrome allows for the further insight into how whiteness may control the societal social resource of media coverage. Listening to the needs of the Indigenous community and acting upon solutions to their needs is a great way to become involved with social justice. A tribe leader in Michigan has begun an initiative to expand databases to include tribal citizenship as an ethnic option on all government databases. Go to www.house.gov, use the Find Your Representative page. With knowledge of who your representative is, use social media, public emails, leave messages expressing your desire to mandate tribal identification options as a catalyst to addressing unresolved missing and murdered Indigenous people cases. Thank you.